Annie was gone, and I was too late to say goodbye.
Oh, God. Get this guy a shrink or some Prozac. Hi, everyone. I'm Marcy Blum, and I'm a wedding and party planner and have been one for the past 35 years. So we are going to be watching a lot of wedding movies together since it's always wedding season on the silver screen. We're kicking off our series this evening with Father of the Bride.
And before you know it, you're sitting all alone in a big empty house wearing
This is
rice
such a
on your
sad,
tux, wondering
sad
what
scene.
happened to your
Instead of
life.
him being celebratory about his daughter's wedding, I've always found this scene to be so sad. Amazing how many movies have bonding basketball one-on-one scenes, right? It's so symbolic. And there's something sort of perverse about playing My Girl. Although I have had fathers and brides dance to My Girl for their dance, so I take it back.
What I'd like is to have my wedding in a church and have the reception here. That's what I was hoping for.
Here?
This is great. This is really brilliant. How he envisions the wedding. That's usually it's pretty similar to the way most people say we're going to do an at-home wedding. That's what they think. The bottom line is that people, no matter how much money they have, nobody ever has any idea how much a wedding is going to cost or what's involved.
But when Brian's mom called with her list, she suggested that they might just want to pitch in and help with the cost of the wedding.
You know, hey, we may not have a house the size of Rhode Island, but we're not poverty-stricken. We can certainly afford to give our daughter a proper wedding.
Now, I will say that that is something that has 1,000,000% changed since I started. Who either both sets of parents are paying for the wedding, or if someone is ridiculously wealthy, like his parents, Brian's parents apparently are, there's absolutely no reason that these poor people should have to pay for any of it. Doesn't make sense. I think this next scene is when we get to meet Frank. And again, everyone's all dressed up. Oh my God, my clients come in the sweatpants. That's why we never know how much money anybody has, because they're all dressed in disguise.
Master and Mrs. Banks and the lovely bride. Hello. Hello.
You know how many of my colleagues have claimed to be the person that Frank was based on? And I don't think any of it's true, by the way. It's a parody, of course. He is a parody.
I suggest that we select the cake first. Okay. You know, because the cake very often determines what kind of wedding that you end up having.
I mean, the whole idea they're showing cakes first is really hilarious.
Well, what is that? Is that dollars?
Well, a cake is $1,200. That's a joke, yeah. You can't do a cake for less than $15 a slice to start. Now, at this point, I'd be telling them that the wedding at home costs more than any other wedding, just so they knew that they were getting into it. So you'd never start with showing someone a cake before you'd ask how much they want to spend.
Who's Frank Egelhofer?
What?
He's coordinating the wedding, and then we're not going to invite him?
Exactly. You think I'm going to pay a guy 15% plus an hourly plus an additional $500 to feed him and that assistant of his? Have you lost your mind?
Well, that's impressive that he's got 15% plus an hourly. That's very unusual. Very unusual. Planners generally charge either a flat fee or a percentage or an hourly, but not all three. So that's and especially back, 15% in the 90s is very unusual. So good for him.
This was the call I'd been dreading since the moment I heard the words wedding coordinator.
You're breaking up. It sounded like you said 150 ahead.
No.
Good, I was about to kill myself.
It's 250 ahead.
First of all, you'd never have some assistant call up and quote what the wedding is going to be without having done the design or anything. It's ludicrous. Give us an idea of what you want to spend and what you want. And we're going to tell you, number one, if that's a realistic spend for what you want, and number two, what you can get for what you want to spend. Yeah, I mean, everything about this scene is again, so out of touch. First of all, she's wearing a bathrobe and she's asleep on her parents' couch instead of with the person that she's about to marry. And then she has this very quaint bride's magazine.
How to give a beautiful wedding on a small budget.
That part is realistic, yeah. That's okay, Daddy. We'll just elope. No, it's fine. Take all my money. She's playing him. She's probably wide awake lying there when she opened it and left it there and waiting for him to come down the stairs so he could see that she was reading the budget article. And that was it. Clever girl. Ah, that's when the post office worked. RSVPs by mail. How quaint. Why isn't Frank doing that? We go through the RSVPs for our clients and collate the guest lists and everything, especially since he's charging so much.
We're here. I'll get the picture.
Real candles in a church. You'd never get that. That's for sure. Well, LED now.
Give me a kiss the bride.
Maybe the most realistic part was them lining up the wedding party before they went down the aisle. That was...
Here we go. I'm opening the doors. Natasha, haven't you peeked enough? Here we go. Come on, let's go.
Dad! There's some cops out front and they want to talk to you.
Cops?
I've heard we'll handle this together. I got George for on the way.
You have a permit for parking 200 cars in this street?
Well, the problem is, officer, that we're supposed to have 4 parking attendants. But 2 got the flu.
Let me just point out that that would be grounds for on one of our clients not paying us if we just happened to have 200 cars parked by accident on the street and didn't think of it. No, you could never. I mean, that's one of the main things doing an at-home wedding. You have to have a parking plan. You can't just dump them out there. How'd they get 250 people, 300 people in this house? Well, we would never do that either. No one does very few people do a bouquet toss, for sure. And the bride and groom never leave before the guests anymore. They're usually the last people out. First of all, no one ever, I don't think since 1900 anyone's gotten, since Wilbur Wright, people don't get on a plane at midnight. Who leaves a wedding reception? Oh, we're just flying to Hawaii at midnight. No, she'd just leave each time. Oh, well, I couldn't find him by. That's too bad.
She was gone. My Annie was gone, and I was too late to say goodbye.
I prefer to look at weddings as a celebration, which is why, for example, when we plan a wedding, we'll never do a bride's side and a groom's side. I mean, little subliminal things like that. We try to make it as if it's a joyous blending of 2 families rather than, oh my God, my kids are leaving us. Well, thank you so very much for joining me. I hope you realize the movie was not very realistic, either in the planning of the wedding or the wedding itself. And to all the fathers out there, or the mothers, or whomever's paying for the wedding, we would never just present you with a bill like that without at least preparing. Thanks for coming.